In the far reaches of the galaxy, life in human colonies was exceptionally harsh compared to other planets. For centuries, humans, who lacked advanced technology, had remained overshadowed by the great empires of the galaxy. However, this disadvantage gradually forced them to become more creative in their survival. While advanced alien civilizations excelled in digital communication and warfare technology, humans still relied on outdated methods, using analog signals and radio waves. This was seen as their weakness until one day, this very weakness turned into their greatest strength. In the darkness of space, the small human ship, Odyssey, glided silently. The mission was simple but deadly: infiltrate the alien high-tech strongholds and sabotage their communication systems. The ship had managed to evade the aliens' radars under its cloaking shields. Captain Alaric and his team were risking their lives for the success of this crucial mission. Alaric surveyed the bridge with a keen eye. The silence heightened the tension on the ship. At that moment, one of the technicians, Kale, turned in his seat and spoke to Alaric. "Commander, we're just minutes away from our target," Kale said, trying to mask his nerves. Alaric knew Kale was a young and energetic technician, but this mission had put everyone to the test. Alaric turned to him with a serious expression. "Good work, Kale," he said. "Now everyone needs to stay focused. We must remain calm in the face of every threat we encounter." The rest of the team was also trying to emulate Alaric's calm demeanor. Nadia, known as Alaric's right hand and strategic brain, was renowned for her ability to come up with solutions in any crisis. She frowned as she looked at the latest data on her computer screen. "The enemy's communication networks are heavily guarded," Nadia said. "However, these networks are entirely digital. We still have a chance using analog signals." Alaric turned to Nadia. "That's why we're here. Their technological superiority is actually their greatest weakness. They're unprepared for analog systems." As the Odyssey approached the alien stronghold, the team's heartbeats quickened. Everyone was filled with both fear and excitement. This was humanity's battle to establish its place in the galactic arena. Alaric felt the need to give a short speech to the team. His voice carried deep determination. "Look," he said, "being here today is not easy. We face one of the most powerful empires in the galaxy. Their technology, weapons, and resources are far superior to ours. But we're using something they never accounted for: analog signals. No matter how advanced their technology is, they are vulnerable to our methods. Today we make history. This mission could be a new beginning for humanity." Everyone on the team drew strength from Alaric's words. No matter how dangerous the mission was, it was their fight. Humanity was rising as a force underestimated by the galaxy. The Odyssey reached the security perimeter outside the alien stronghold. The ship parked at a safe location without being detected by the aliens' digital radars. As Alaric reviewed the team's final preparations, the lights inside the ship flickered slightly. Everyone held their breath. Infiltrating a digitally protected area with analog signals was unprecedented in human history. Yet, it was their only chance. "Nadia, check the sensors," Alaric said. "Are we ready to move?" Nadia looked at her data screen and confirmed. "Yes, they haven't detected our signals yet. We can initiate the attack." Kale tightened his grip on the communication device and turned to Alaric. "Commander, we only have one chance to send the signals. If we fail, the entire system will collapse, and they'll detect us immediately." Alaric took a deep breath. "We cannot afford to fail," he said, giving final instructions to the team. "Kale, initiate the analog signals. Nadia, be prepared to disrupt their digital systems." Kale pressed the buttons with trembling hands. Moments later, the screens inside the ship flickered, and analog signals radiated into space. These signals began to clash with the digital systems in the enemy stronghold. Nadia quickly checked the screens for feedback. "Parasitic interference is starting to form in their digital systems," Nadia said. "The plan is working." However, things were not going as smoothly as planned. Suddenly, the enemy ship's digital radars went wild with signal chaos. Alaric's face tightened. "They've detected us," he said. Kale immediately activated the ship's shields. "Shields are up," he said, but his voice trembled. "But they may not hold for long, Commander." Alaric made a swift decision. "Nadia, increase the interference signals." We need to blind their radars completely. Kale, prepare for retreat. The enemy ships rapidly approached the Odyssey, but Alaric's team managed to use analog signals as a weapon against the enemy's digital systems, blocking their view. This bought them a few more minutes. Breaking the stronghold. Nadia noticed something on her screen. The enemy systems are severely affected, she said excitedly. Communication could be cut off soon. Alaric seized the opportunity. Then let's move quickly, he said. We'll take down all the digital systems in the enemy stronghold. This chaos will deliver the biggest blow. The team quickly implemented the plan. Kale, by introducing an analog interference into the enemy stronghold's digital signals, caused the systems to overload. Digital screens began to go dark one by one. It's working, Kale said with relief. The enemy stronghold is completely blind. But the joy was short-lived. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocked the ship, and everyone was thrown off balance. Nadia looked at her screen. They're retaliating, she said. Alaric noticed the ship's shields were failing. Kale, retreat immediately, he ordered. Kale quickly activated the ship's engines, and the Odyssey began to pull back. But enemy fire was on their tail. During the space chase, Alaric's team had to use all their skills to survive. The shields were nearly depleted, but the complete collapse of the stronghold's digital systems became their saving move. The human team reached the heart of the enemy station, prying open the massive metal door. Inside, the atmosphere was grim. Holographic screens on the walls were malfunctioning, and digital display panels were frozen in place. The aliens, each at a different terminal, were desperately trying to revive their chaotic digital systems. But the humans had locked the entire system with analog radio waves. Now, the enemy was experiencing the greatest weakness of their advanced technology. We don't have much time, Nadia said, gripping her weapon tightly. She was both hesitant and determined. We must not waste a single moment, Kale said, his eyes fixed on the large room beyond the door. We need to finish this before they can regroup. Alaric gathered his team and gave a silent command. Be careful. The enemies might launch a counterattack at any moment. The team advanced carefully through the room. The digital defenses might have been disabled, but the aliens were still alive and dangerous, like a cornered animal. There could be a trap waiting at every corner. Alaric kept his eyes sharp and alert. Slowly, he nodded to the side, signaling the team to proceed. They stood before the aliens' main control room. It was a large area, filled with massive platforms and tangled cables. Digital screens were dark, and data had vanished. The aliens, unable to comprehend their blinded systems, were growing more disoriented. Some aliens shouted commands at others, but nothing was working. We need to find a solution, an alien leader shouted, pounding on the screens with his red, leather-covered hands in frustration. We don't have any more time, another one said. The humans are coming. We must stop them. Using the chaos to their advantage, the humans continued their advance. It had only taken minutes to infiltrate the enemy control room, but every second was riskier. As they moved forward, the only sounds breaking the silence were their breathing and the aliens' panicked voices. Nadia whispered, "We need to locate the main control system. If we can finish this here, communication across the galaxy will collapse." Alaric nodded. The main communication core should be in the center of this room. We've brought down their digital systems with analog signals, but there could still be something left. We need to sabotage the system before they regain digital control. Kale stepped forward and pointed to a large device in the center. There it is. The digital control core is here. The group carefully surrounded the device. The circuits inside still pulsed faintly. Without intervention from outside, this massive device would continue sending digital signals across the galaxy. We need to do this quietly, Alaric said, eyeing the remaining aliens. If we make a mistake, they'll all pounce on us. Kale took a thin cable and began working inside the device. If we inject analog signals into this system, all their digital communication will be locked. Just then, one of the aliens spotted Alaric's group. "Humans are here!" he shouted, his voice echoing through the room. Chaos erupted. The aliens immediately grabbed their weapons. As the first gunshots rang out, the entire room turned into a battlefield. Alaric quickly moved his team into defensive positions. "Nadia!" Kale, open fire! Alaric shouted. The humans began firing at the enemies. The sound of gunfire echoed in the room, and energy blasts scattered everywhere. The aliens, relying on their technological superiority, tried to push the humans back, but their disabled digital systems left them completely defenseless. Every attempt to counterattack failed. Kale focused on the massive device. "I don't have much time left," he said, his hands working quickly among the cables. While Nadia fired, she also supported Kale. "Hurry up! We're running out of time." Alaric faced the alien commander, who was making a last-ditch effort to reboot the digital systems. But every attempt ended in failure. In frustration and desperation, the commander turned to Alaric. "You can't destroy this digital world," he said, his voice threatening. Alaric's face was resolute. "You rely too much on technology," he said, walking toward the commander. "But human ingenuity is far more complex than you can imagine." With one final move, Alaric attacked the commander. A brief but intense fight ensued. The commander was strong, but Alaric was faster. Eventually, Alaric brought the commander to the ground. At that moment, Kale inserted the last cable into the system, causing the core to explode. Suddenly, digital signals across the galaxy were completely shut down. The aliens' technology crashed once again. "We did it," Kale said, taking a deep breath. Alaric looked down at the commander. "This is the end of your digital era," he said firmly. The commander felt the sting of defeat. Fear appeared in his eyes. "This is a temporary victory," he said stubbornly. "Humans cannot understand digital technology." Alaric shook his head. "If you continue to underestimate us, it won't be long before you understand who the new masters of this galaxy are," he said. By the end of the chapter, the human strategy had succeeded. Alien systems across the galaxy had collapsed under the power of analog signals and had become completely uncontrollable. But this was only the beginning. Alaric and his team might have won a battle that would reshape the galaxy, but they knew that this victory would bring new enemies. Across the galaxy, a profound silence fell with the collapse of digital communication networks. Humanity's cunning attack with analog signals had shattered the aliens' reliance on advanced technology. Yet this silence was merely the calm before the storm. The great powers across the galaxy were preparing their response to this audacious assault. After seizing the main control center, Alaric and his team returned to the base outside the enemy headquarters. The team was exhausted but savored the taste of victory. However, a deep concern etched itself on Alaric's face. "This is far from over," he muttered to himself. The gathered team looked at him expectantly. "What's our next move?" Kale asked, still catching his breath. The spark of triumph in his eyes had given way to a shadow of uncertainty. "We've sabotaged their communication networks, but the repercussions will be significant," Nadia said, frowning. "We've made enemies of the entire galaxy with this attack." Alaric nodded. "That's true," he said. "But right now, the galaxy's people are blind and isolated. We have a real advantage because of that." Human technology, once seen as weak on the galactic stage, had turned into a formidable weapon under Alaric's command. By exploiting the weaknesses of the digital age, humanity had revitalized analog systems and defeated its enemies. However, this victory had pushed the galaxy to the brink of war. "We need to act quickly," Alaric said resolutely. "We must seize key positions in the galaxy before the aliens can regroup." Nadia looked at Alaric. "But that means setting the galaxy ablaze, Alaric. If they fear us, they might unite against us." "We could walk straight into a trap," she warned. "We can't allow them to unite," Alaric said with a determined look. "We need to incite discord among them. In the darkness, fear prevails. And we can turn that fear to our advantage." This new strategy was as bold as it was risky. Alaric aimed to pit the aliens against each other amidst the chaos, taking them down one by one. For this plan to succeed, every move had to be timed perfectly. "There's no turning back now," Kale said. "We must see this through to the end." Alaric nodded. "Yes, we started this war. Now we must finish it." Alaric's strategy was centered on creating widespread chaos. While continuing to dismantle communication centers across the galaxy with analog signals, he also planned to spread misinformation by reactivating sabotaged digital systems in certain areas. This would leave the enemies unsure of whom to trust. The first target was a communications hub at the heart of the Galdar Empire. The Galdar Empire was one of the civilizations most dependent on digital technology. When the communication lines went down, the regional governors of the empire could no longer communicate with each other. A message from within sowed seeds of doubt. There's betrayal. Suspicion spread between the regions of the empire. Areas that relied on digital systems began to clash with each other. Alaric's team, moving silently in the chaos, seized strategic points in the empire. As the Galdar armies fought among themselves, humans maneuvered in the shadows. However, things were not going as planned. Humanity's success had stirred the great powers in the galaxy. Commander Threx, having noticed the ingenuity behind the analog attacks, planned a counterstrike. Using advanced artificial intelligence and remaining digital systems, Threx began tracking the analog signals. Following humanity's trail became increasingly feasible with each passing day. "They've started to decipher our moves," Kale said in a meeting. "It's happening faster than we expected." "I anticipated this," Alaric replied. "But this is just the beginning. While they counterattack, we'll stay one step ahead." "Threx is a clever adversary," Nadia said. "We exploited every weakness in the digital world, but now they're adapting to our methods." "Threx may be smart," Alaric said. "But our biggest advantage in our strategy is this. We're still not playing on their turf. They're dependent on digital technology. We're leveraging the simple but reliable nature of analog. We'll win this war not with technology but with intelligence." Humanity's next target was Threx's forward base, the digital fortress. This stronghold was guarded by the last remnants of enemy forces and was powerful enough to restore galactic communication. If Alaric and his team could capture this fortress, it would shift the balance of power in the galaxy forever. A major battle erupted around the fortress. Threx had tracked the humans by following the analog signals and sent his best soldiers to defend the fortress. Yet, humanity was determined to overcome this digital stronghold with analog methods. "This battle is crucial," Alaric said, gripping his weapon tightly. "This is where the galaxy's fate will be decided." The two armies clashed outside the fortress. Despite the aliens' advanced weaponry, humans fought with courage. As analog signals continued to disrupt alien technology, both sides suffered heavy losses. Alaric maneuvered through enemy lines and confronted Threx face to face. The commander, a formidable alien with sharp eyes, locked gazes with Alaric. Their confrontation was inevitable. "At last, I've found you," Threx said coldly. "Are you the mastermind behind this chaos?" Alaric paused for a moment. "Your technology doesn't guarantee victory," he said, raising his sword. "Sometimes, the oldest methods are the strongest." Threx drew a digital blade and attacked Alaric. A fierce duel ensued between the two commanders, with each move shaping the destiny of the galaxy. In the end, the final strike came from Alaric. An analog blow brought the digital commander down. The fortress erupted in a massive explosion, and the digital systems were completely destroyed. Humanity had captured the fortress and ushered the galaxy into a new era. Threx's defeat marked the end of the digital age. Humanity had established a new balance in the galaxy, transforming the galactic order with the simple but powerful nature of analog technology. While everyone wondered how this new order would function, to Alaric, this was only the beginning. "We've won this war," Alaric said, sharing the victory with his team. "But there's much work ahead to shape the galaxy. It's time to build a new world." Kale and Nadia looked towards the future of the galaxy with hope. Humanity had ended the digital age and etched its name in the galactic history books in golden letters. I hope you had a good time. If you liked my story, do not forget to comment and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye, see you in the next story.